Hey YouTube, it's Tech Savvy Solution, and I'm here with a video comparison review between the 3DS on my left and the 3DS XL on my right. In this review, I'll be covering differences in screen quality between the two systems. I have them side by side, so I'm going to be running about 3 games so you can be the judge and tell the difference between which system you think is better. And then I'll also be covering sound quality between the two, so periodically throughout this review I'll be switching between the sound of the 3DS and then the sound of the 3DS XL, so you can also hear the difference for yourself. I'll also be doing a quick speed test, which isn't really relevant, I don't think, for game consoles, but just for you guys who are curious to see how long or how much faster it would be for 3DS or 3DS XL to download a game from the Nintendo store. Or also, when you're web browsing, which game console stacks up to be the faster web browser. Although, again, those aren't too relevant, but I decided to include it into this video review anyways. So before I continue, I want to note that sometimes my videos can get a bit long. I'm pretty notorious for in-depth and lengthy videos. So please do check the video description below for time links so that you can skip to various parts of the video that you want to see, so you don't have to sit through the entire thing or anything. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to begin and show you guys the good stuff. Thanks. Alright, so let's power these two babies on. Alright, so just as a note, the 3DS came out first, but that's only reasonable just because the 3DS has less pixels to push out than its older brother, so the performance is going to be slightly slower, but I mean, when you're playing games, you're not going to notice it. So, let's go ahead and get started first by checking the brightness. So I want to make sure that you guys are getting equal settings for both. I have on the highest brightness setting, level 5, and then I'm turning power saving mode off. Alright. Okay, so for now I'm going to turn off the audio of the 3DS XL and just give you the audio of the 3DS, and I have it on max volume right now, so just prove that right here. And then I'm also going to turn off the volume for the 3DS XL. And I keep on activating the camera by accident, but let's not do that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and launch our first application, our first game, and that's going to be Metal Gear Solid. Alright, so you might notice just from the get-go that the screen might look a little washed out. When I'm seeing it in person, it doesn't look, I mean, there's not that much of a difference between the two systems, and it really doesn't look washed out. So it might just be the lights that I have recording, or that I have during this recording. But one thing that you might notice as well is that if you're playing in direct sunlight between the two systems, this will have more glare than the 3DS XL. That was because Nintendo was able to reduce glare in the screens by about 9% with the new system. So you're not going crazy there if you see that. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into this game. And bear in mind, I don't play this too often, so I'm not gonna be the best, but I'm just gonna give you a comparison of the graphics.
Try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
And then I'm also going to switch these two around so you can get same, just so I'm being fair to the two. Perhaps this isn't the best spot for the system, but you can see the difference in the screens right here. Just let my camera focus. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and move around just a bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch the audio between the two. So I'm going to turn the 3DS XL on, turn this one off. Alright, I'm going to switch the two positions. Let my camera focus. Alright, and let's take a look at the menus. Take a look at our guns here. Try not to have my hands get in the way. Alright, so there you have it. So looking in person, I just see the color difference between the two. Like, it seems like everything is brighter somewhat on the original 3DS system, but because of that, there seems to be more glare. I don't know if that has anything, like any correlation between the two, but that's just my experience between the two systems. And I'm gonna swap it around one more time so you can get a fair comparison between the two. But again, and you can see this on video as well, everything, the brightness setting seems to be brighter on the original 3DS. And then on the 3DS XL, it's easier to look at, in my opinion. So again, not only does it have larger screens, but the brightness or the glare control is definitely improved as well. Alright, before we go on, I also want to note that I'm also on the latest firmware between the two systems. On the two systems, I mean. So let me show you that in the settings, just so that we're completely impartial between the two. We don't have one that has a higher firmware than the other. So I have both of them on 4.3. This is the European version, so it has an E on the last part of it, and then I have a U because this is the American system. Alright, so let's close this. And then now let's go ahead and go to our next application, our next game, which is Nintendogs and Cats. Alright, so just in the opening screen, I want you to hear the audio quality between the two. And then here is the 3DS XL pumping up those notes. And then I'm going to turn that off in a little minute, or in a bit, so that you can hear it on the 3DS. Let's get this focused. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the audio for this. And then let's turn it back on the 3DS XL. And we're gonna leave it on the 3DS for about the first half of this. So I'm gonna pick the first one. And let's go ahead and zoom over to the cat here. So note that this is the European version, this is the American version of Nintendogs and cats. And I kind of like the names of the two, the name differences. So we have like Coco and Pickles on the American version, and Nina and Sultan on the European version. Just thought that was a funny note. But let's go ahead and compare the two qualities, the screens. So I have the two side by side like this. And let's go ahead and call both of them. I'm petting a virtual cat, how cute. Alright, and let's go ahead and rotate it so we can see both of them. Oops. Let's rotate to the front. Looks like they're looking at each other from afar. As if they know they're right next to each other. Okay, here's a front view of the little cat. Alright, I'm gonna pan out. Oops. Yeah, there we go. And then let's go back. Let's go to the dog now. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go out again. And then let's switch to the audio of the 3DS XL. And then I'm also going to switch positions of the two systems, so you get a fair angle between the two. And then I'm just going to make a couple of just generalizations between the two screens. So let's go back to the cat. He's cool. Alright, so in terms of just the screen richness, or the color richness, I mean, the color saturation, the colors look generally more vibrant on the 3DS XL than on the 3DS. It might just be the two systems that I own, or it might just be the angle that I'm looking at it, but in general I find a better like color handling or color saturation on 3DS XL. And then again, as I noted before, the glare seems to be doing better on the XL than on the original system. But in this application, I see virtually no difference between the two. So I guess it varies from game to game. You can go ahead and check out the audio quality between the two. And let's call back the dog this time. I want this guy to bark so you can see and hear how the two barks compare. Oh, obviously, because the audio is off on this one. But you can hear the differences between the two systems' audio just in this game in general. Let's move this back. And I think in this angle in particular, you can see the washout on the 3DS XL seems more apparent just in this shot than on the 3DS XL. Alright, so I think that concludes Nintendogs and Cats. And our demo is about up anyways. So let's go ahead and move on to our next game. Alright, so our next game / application is going to be our Pokedex. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that. Alright. Oh, cool. Got new Pokemon. That's pretty awesome. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and again switch to 2. And then I'm going to turn on the audio of the 3DS. Turn off the audio on the 3DS XL. And then let's go ahead and have my camera focus. Alright, there we go. And then let's go ahead and scroll to the same Pokemon. So the one that I had before was pretty cool. Alright, and I'm gonna do my best attempt at just rotating it at the same angle. Probably not gonna work out, but let's see the two Pokemon side by side. And already I'm kind of failing at that, but you can get an idea of the two Pokemon and their 3D effects. How the two stack up, and let's do a close-up between the two. So I'm gonna get that front angle and zoom in. Oops. Nope. Let's zoom in right here. So as you can see, not too much of a difference between the two screens. But again, on the video camera, the washout seems to be more apparent on the original system than on the 3DS XL. And let's go ahead and switch camera angles again so you can see. And then we're also going to switch audio, even though there isn't any, just to be fair. Maybe we could do a couple of sound effects. And then that same thing on the 3DS. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. Let's go back to this guy. And again, 3DS XL. And then how about let's get our battle cry or whatever Pokemon sound. Okay, turn that one off. and then let's turn this one on. Or actually, we don't need to turn anything off and on because it's a silent if you don't hit the 2. So let's go back to this guy. Alright, so I'll let you be the judge between the 2, but again, in general, the sound seems to be a little better on the 3DS XL. The stereo effect of it too seems to be better, just because, or it might be because of this, I'm just speculating, but you have 5 holes for the speakers on the 3DS versus 9 holes for the speakers on the 3DS XL. That's per speaker, so in total, you have 10, and then total in 3DS XL you have 18. So that, and the fact that the 2 speakers are now put farther apart on the XL, might contribute to the overall better audio quality. But again, the 2 systems put out pretty great stuff, so, or relatively speaking, they're about the same. But if you were to be really picky, the 3DS XL would have the better audio. Alright, so let's take a look at another Pokemon before we leave. No, not that guy. There we go. Dang. Let's have that again. Alright, and then quick tour around this Pokemon. Alright, so there you have it. Pokedex comparison. Okay, so our next stop is going to be the Nintendo shop. Alright, so at the Nintendo shop, I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and then I'm going to turn off the audio for the 3DS and just give you that of the 3DS XL. Alright, and just for our audio comparison test, I'm going to go ahead and shut off the audio for the 3DS XL and give you the audio of the 3DS. Alright, and then I'm going to give you the audio of the 3DS XL again. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and download a demo for the 2. I'm gonna download the same game and see if we can bring it up. Alright, demos. And let's go ahead and check the downloading speed between the 2. Let's do a little comparison. So again, both of them are connected to the same Wi-Fi network, so it should be a fair test. We'll see how the 2 systems fare out. Alright, so it looks like, in our case, we both have, let's just go here. We both have Kingdom Hearts, so I'm gonna download this one. Okay, and let's go over to the download option. Interesting, you have 2 different icons. No, you have the same. This one just scrolls around, this one stays static. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and download this. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and download now. And let's switch to audio. So now the 3DS is playing. Then I'm also going to switch the two systems around. I also wanted to note that our download options are a bit different between the two systems. So on the original 3DS we have this download later option, and then on the 3DS XL we have a sleep mode download, which is the same thing but they just call it a different name. And feel free to fast forward through this part if you don't want to sit through it. The download can take a little bit, but I didn't want to cut anything so that this download comparison, speed comparison, could be fair. Alright, it looks like the 3DS is coming out as the winner. There we go. And let's wait for the 3DS XL to finish. Okay, so there's our download test. Press continue. And then let's switch back to the audio of the 3DS XL one more time. Alright, and let's go ahead and head it back home, and then I'll go ahead and try out the game that we just downloaded. Okay, so up next we have Kingdom Hearts, and then I'm going to show you a different angle of the systems again, and switch these two. Okay, so now we have these two side by side again, except in a different order. And then I'm going to unwrap this. So now we have Kingdom Hearts 3D. Right, so here's our angle here. I'm just taking a good look between the two and see if that glare problem is apparent in this screenshot. And on camera it looks like the two are about the same, but the 3DS ever so slightly having more glare, but in person they seem about the same. So I'm gonna open this up. Whoa, hold up. What? So on the 3DS I have 30 uses, and then on the 3DS XL I only have 15. Alright. Also says up here. Anyways, I'm gonna open both of them up. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the audio for the 3DS XL now and give you just the audio of the 3DS in just a minute.
This is Traverse Town. Hey, what's with my clothes? Must be more of Master Yen Sid's magic.
So 3DS XL, audio quality. And then I'm gonna switch these two.
Look, what happened to Riku? Riku! Hello? Riku! Shut it. Huh? Talk about noise.
Hey, it's Neku from The World Ends 2.
Yeah, but, how do you know that? Looks like another player. A player? Come on, keep up. In the game. Players get marked with the time limit. In this game, I can't afford to lose. I need my game partner. Okay. I don't know about any game, but can I help? What? Time out. Do you trust every total stranger you meet?
Let's turn off 3DS XL.
You're no good. You're
3DS audio quality.
and my pack's with someone else. Okay, so we can't be partners. Why don't I just help you out as your friend? Now we're friends? It's not that easy. Not saying it is, but you could make it easier. Yeah, sounds great. Whatever. Cool. Lead the way. Whoa.
I can't fight two at the same time. Okay, let's refocus the screens again. Oh god, what the hell? Oh, this is not fair, come on. Battling two enemies at the same time like a boss. Okay, so this is a pretty good luck between the two. I'm gonna go ahead and again switch audio quality so you can hear. Let's refocus the screens. Alright. I'm not gonna open the other box, but you can take a look at the time. And then here's a look at the menu. Take a look at some 2D graphics here. So here's a 2D graphic at the 3DS. Here's the same thing in the 3DS XL. So that was the audio quality there, and then let's turn on the audio quality of the 3DS. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back home. Okay, so let's open up the web browser on both. Right. Okay. So here it is, and what I'm going to do is let's do a quick Google search on both of them. So let's search tech-savvy solution. Right, and let's do the same thing here. Oops. There we go. And let's hit search. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the audio for both. So it doesn't really matter in the browser speed test. Ready, set, go. Alright, so it seems like this came out, the 3DS came out just a hair faster, but again, it might have been just me not pressing it at pressing the start button at the complete exact time to perform just about the same. So if I'm going to scroll like this on the 3DS XL, you get the checkerboarding effect, and the same thing occurs on the 3DS. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and load up my YouTube page, which is pretty graphic intensive, but again, you don't have Flash running, so it's okay. Oop. Okay, that wasn't fair. Hold up. Let's go back. And hit them at the same time. Okay. Ready, set, go. This one might take a while. Interesting. It won't display my background image. See how the scrolling goes on both. So we zoom out to the max possible setting on that. Let's compare them side by side. I don't know why this one's having issues displaying the image. Yep. That was kind of unfair on my part in comparing the web browsing using this web page, because it's particularly tricky to load. Most of the YouTube channels are. But here you can see the two and how they stack up side by side. In general, you have you don't display more content on the 3DS XL. It's not like with phones. If you have a bigger screen, then you get more of the web page showing up. They're about the same. It's just that they show up at a larger scale, obviously, on the 3DS XL. I'm also going to switch these two around so you can see for yourself. Then if we're going to zoom in, both of them aren't doing a particularly awesome job with rendering this, and I found that to be true just in general with the two web browsers, regardless of which one I'm using. They're not the best. You can find a better one on a phone, but again, this is it's a gaming device. It's not your PDA, a daily PDA or anything. It's not supposed to be used for web browsing per se, but you have the feature available, which is nice. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the text here. Oh, no, I didn't want to load that. No. I don't know why it keeps on selecting that. There we go. So you can see the two. I'm going to put them side by side right now and show you the 3DS first. Close up. And then now I'm going to show you the 3DS XL at a close up. So yeah, you can see a little bit more blurriness on the 3DS XL than you can on the 3DS, but the two are about the same. Again, if I were to be picky, 3DS would win, but you also get the bigger screen of the 3DS XL, so it's easier on your eyes when you're viewing web pages. Alright, so let's go ahead and load up a more common site. So how about let's load up the New York Times. Go to the menu and just kind of search again, New York Times. Okay. Okay. So it's interesting. The 3DS XL was not able to load part of the page. The 3DS was. Okay. It's not exactly the site that I was looking for, but here's the web page. And for these purposes, I'm just going to this page because of the text, so we can see the difference between the two. Alright, so we're on the highest zoom setting, and I'm gonna put the two up against each other again. So here's a close-up of the 3DS. And then here's a close-up of the 3DS XL. Alright, so that about concludes the browser speed test as well as some brief screen comparisons again. I'm gonna head back to the home menu now. So, concluding words between the two systems. In the screen department, and more specifically the screen crispness, the clarity, just the overall resolution, quality, whatever you want to call it, but that thing that you see in the screen where you're like, oh my god, it's such a crisp image, that part, that aspect of this comparison, I would have to give it up for the 3DS, the original one that is, just by a very, very slight margin, because the two are quite similar, and they do quite well in displaying the graphics and displaying the images. But on the original system, everything seems just, again, more condensed. The images come out like they're more together in that sense, and I would have to declare that one the winner. But again, by a small amount. But in terms of the glare, and you saw this throughout the video, I would say that the 3DS XL had handled it a little bit better than the 3DS. And again, that 9% glare reduction has a pretty big impact when you put it on camera, that is. In terms of audio, I would also declare the 3DS XL the winner. So you can hear and not see, but you can hear for yourself through the video that not only is the quality a bit better, a bit crisper, but when you have the stereo effect of the sound and the so-called surround sound effect of these two systems, the 3DS XL does it better just because, one, you have more holes so the audio can come out. You have more holes for the audio to come out, and then you also have the speakers being placed farther apart in the system because obviously it's a bigger unit. Okay, in the speed department, the 3DS, the original one, seemed to handle loading things faster in general. You have the web browser tests, which both of them were about neck and neck with, but really when you were downloading the game from the Nintendo store, you could see that the 3DS won out. And in general, you can see that the 3DS is slightly faster than the 3DS XL. And again, it's because it's a smaller screen, you have less pixels that you're pushing out than the 3DS XL. But either way, both of them do perform quite well, and they're game systems, so when you're playing them, you're not going to notice a significant lag between the 3DS XL and the 3DS. They're both gonna suit your needs quite well when you're playing. So with that, I'm going to end this video comparison review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to check out a physical comparison and also some more screen comparisons between the two, I have my 3DS versus 3DS XL screen and physical size comparison review out there, so you can go ahead and check out that. But for now, I'll be leaving you guys again to your lives, and I will be going on with mine, making videos. So if you like what you see, if you like these in-depth reviews, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate your feedback. It helps keep me going with these videos. And I'll see you guys next time on the next video review, tutorial, or news announcement. Thanks, guys.